A drug is a substance that is taken into the body that alters or influences chemical reactions in the body. There are various types of drugs that are called depressants or stimulants. Stimulants affect the body by affecting the synapses of the body. They speed up the transmission rate from the normal rate. This is the opposite effect of a depressant. The aftermath of this effect shows that the user experiences a feeling of sickness and loss of energy. Depressants are drugs that slow down activity in the central nervous system of the body. These drugs are also called downers because they slow the body down and seem to give feelings of relaxation. Depressants are available as prescription drugs to relieve stress and anger, although drowsiness is often a side effect. The relaxation felt from these drugs is not a healthy feeling for the body to experience, so prolonged use of these drugs is not recommended. Antibiotics are groups of chemicals made by microorganisms to kill pathogens or to stop further infection. Antibiotics are usually made artificially as they are more controllable and reliable for mass production. One of the most common antibiotics is penicillin, which inhibits the cell wall formation of the pathogen, causing the cell wall to deteriorate and leak cell content. Over time, however, pathogens become resistant to the antibiotics. There are two types of antibiotics: narrow spectrum, antibiotics that work only on a handful of bacteria, and broad spectrum, antibiotics that are effective with multiple species of bacteria. Antibiotics won't work on viruses because viruses don't have a cell wall for the antibiotics to attack. Viruses are parasites and will find a cell to host and inject their RNA into, forcing it to produce copies of the virus they have, since they do not have a metabolic system. Therefore, to target viruses by antibiotics, we would have to destroy our own cells to eliminate them. Heroin is a very powerful depressant. It slows down many functions of the brain, thus reducing pain and slowing breathing. This produces a feeling of euphoria. This drug is very addictive, and addiction is very rapid and can take place after just 1 or 2 weeks. Heroin addicts feel ill when they do not take in the heroin, so more and more heroin must be taken in order for the heroin addict to feel better. Heroin abuse has many physical effects in the body, but also comes with social problems. Heroin addicts are often unable to hold down a job and are therefore unable to help themselves or support their family. So, many heroin addicts turn to crime in order to buy their drugs. Heroin is taken into the body by injection, however the needles used for this are often dirty. This has led to the spread of infections such as hepatitis and HIV. Alcohol is a very commonly used recreational drug. People often drink alcohol because it makes them feel more relaxed and sometimes more confident. Alcohol is a powerful depressant which slows down parts of the brain. Therefore, it lengthens the time it takes you to respond to a stimulus. Driving under the influence of alcohol is a big issue in many countries, as this leads to many accidents and deaths on the road. Alcohol also leads to an increase in aggression and a lack of self-control. It can also lead to memory loss and confusion. Alcohol is a poison, so the liver must process it. However, this can lead to damage of the liver, as it can no longer break down the alcohol-poisoned cells. This leads to cirrhosis of the liver, whereby fibers grow in the liver, leading it to lack function. This can be fatal. Cigarettes are another form of recreational drugs. They affect the brain as a stimulant, which means it makes a person feel more alert. Nicotine is the addictive agent in cigarettes, making it nearly impossible for smokers to quit smoking. Nicotine increases the tendency for blood clots as well as heart disease within the body. Tar is another major ingredient in cigarettes. This contains many different chemicals, some of which are carcinogenic, causing cancer. These chemicals can cause cells in the respiratory passages in the lungs to divide uncontrollably, forming a tumor. This can be malignant, causing cancer. Smoking increases the risk of developing cancer. Carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas found in cigarettes which affects the blood. It diffuses from the lungs into the blood and combines with hemoglobin in red blood cells, making them functionless. This means less oxygen can be carried in the blood. Carbon monoxide can also affect pregnancy as the baby receives all the poisonous chemicals in the blood, preventing it from growing properly. Smoke particles found in cigarette smoke become trapped inside the lungs. White blood cells try to remove them and secrete chemicals intending to get rid of them. Unfortunately, these chemicals can cause serious damage to the lungs themselves. This causes the walls of the alveoli to break down, making less surface area for gas exchange occur. This is emphysema. In conclusion, there are many drugs that can do good things for the human body, but when misused and abused, they can be very, very dangerous and horrible for your health.